Good morning, health coaches. So, nope, I'm not Doug. Doug and Tia are on a flight over the Pacific Ocean heading to Maui this morning. So they couldn't be here, and I'm glad they're not. They desperately work so hard, and I'm glad that they're taking this time away. And just to have some rest time with their family and do maybe a little bit of TSFL, but mostly just refreshing and being together because they're pretty on call for most of us a lot of the time. So this morning, as we are looking at it, it's December 15th, so 10 days until Christmas. Really about 9 days of, where we're putting in the action. Of course, everyone's going to have off Christmas Day and be with their family. But we really wanted to talk about this season right now of where we are. And it's like we are in a lull before the perfect storm. As far as what's prepping. But during that lull, this is not the time to be sleeping. It is definitely prepping yourself and prepping the surroundings and just basically just waking yourself up out of a little slumber and going, because maybe you haven't had as many clients coming on this month so far, or people are pushing out their orders. It's very typical. It always happens in December. It doesn't mean that anything's changing. This is just the cycle that it happens. But keep putting not the same amount as that you normally would, but double it, because the results will come. That's the part that we're planting the seeds, and it's really a great time. Megan, Cody, are you on? If you are, would you just unmute yourself so that I know? Okay, maybe not yet. So for those of you you've been around for lots of seasons, this is not unusual. This month is people are busy buying presents, and when you talk with them, even though they say they're ready, they can't think of anything except, well, I shouldn't say they, because I actually have started several new clients this month, but many people are like, just call me after Christmas, just call me after the new year. So it's like, hopefully you're keeping them all in your binder. And Dan Valentine showed us his binder, in the video. Future clients, just writing as much as you can about them, keeping their page up front, because the day after Christmas, when you're ready to hop back into action, believe me, mentally they're ready. The leftovers are put away. Presents are unwrapped. Kids are, gone home if they have kids that are older, or if their kids are little, they're busy. And all at once, it's business as usual again. And so that week between Christmas and New Year's is huge. That's when probably half of our monthly business comes in that week. So it's crazy. Way different than other years or other months. Sorry about that. I had a text coming in from Megan, and she's going to share a little bit with us this morning, so I want to be aware of her. For those of you who don't have Doug and Tia's address, it would be a really great time of the year if you felt like putting a Christmas card in the mail if you haven't already, and maybe talking to them and just saying thank you for what a difference they've made in your life. And maybe not directly, but you know what? Because they said yes 6.5, 7 years ago, that's why there's thousands of us on this path, not only to health, but also those of us like this morning who are health coaches. We're here. Bringing fulfillment and health to other people. Many of you bringing financial health to yourselves and to your family, and just making a huge difference. So I have so much gratitude for Doug and Tia, and so just jot a note to them. There's something about handwritten mail that is a little bit more personal than in email. Although if an email is what you got, that would be awesome too. So we'll take whatever. Just wanted to remind you since they happen to not be on. So Megan, if you're here, I'd love for you to just hop on and chat for just a minute about some things that were on your heart.
Yeah, Paula, I'm here. Hey, how are you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect. You look all nice and warm.
Yeah, I'm out in my car. It's snowy here in Indiana. I'm out in my car because I just finished up a doctor's appointment. So isn't that great that we can just do this from wherever? Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I did want to share a few things with you guys. Paula and I were talking about like what's going on at the team, what's the pulse of the team, where can we help and serve right now this time of year. And Sean and I are talking about, hey, what are some things that we are noticing right now? And I think we've been coaching for 3 years, but started right around this time 3 years ago. So this would be like our 4th holiday season. And so I feel like we've had a good amount of experience with this time of year. So I want to encourage some of you, whether you're new or you're a seasoned coach. And I feel like if you heard me talk at all in the past few months, you're going to hear almost a repeat, but to keep pressing in, if you feel like you're in the trenches right now, to keep going. And, some of us are having, amazing Novembers and Decembers, and others are feeling a little more like, hey, where'd the people go? Like all year, so much activity. And then where do the people go in November and December? It's a time of year where each business is a little bit different, but I want to encourage you, if you're in that season, to stay in the trenches. And I say that, and it's not a bad thing, but to stay leaning in, to press in to that feeling of, I'm doing so much work, I'm sharing with a lot of people, I'm like loving on people, I'm doing the layering, I'm following up, but it seems like a lot of people are maybe not responsive, or they're saying, oh yeah, let's talk in January. Keep them on a list, keep them tracked, like Paul was just talking about, because those people will be ready. I have seen for the past 3 years that it almost feels like this fog in December, and then it starts to lift the day after Christmas. So what I encourage you to do is to make sure that you have some time scheduled in. If you want to grow, we don't have to do anything with coaching, but if you want to grow, have some time scheduled in the last few days after Christmas, and be ready to follow up with people, and the people that said they're ready to start in January, to let them know, like, hey, I know you said you're interested. It can take up to a week for your stuff to arrive this time of year. Would you like to talk, and want to get you going? And I really want to encourage you too to stay in action with a couple of actual tangible tips, especially if you're newer, because you can sometimes feel like I'm spinning my wheels, but I wanted to share a few things that are working well for us. And I also wanted to share my heart that for Sean and I, the past 3 November, Decembers, it has felt slow. But what I realized was I was getting in my own way. And what I mean by that is that I slowed down. I didn't keep pressing in this time of year. I did some work, but it slowed down because I had this concept that no one wanted to start in November and December. And I decided this year that I wasn't going to let myself have that concept, and that I was going to lean in extra. And we've had a great season. So if you haven't had a great season, or if it hasn't been as explosive as your fall was, I want to give you a few tips. So, and Paul, I was going to ask you to screen share this, but I don't think you need to, so don't worry about it if you're thinking about it. But so one thing that Sean and I have been doing that's been working really well is we have been asking clients to share their before and after, and literally giving them a script of what to share and to tag us in. And so a few tips of what that looks like is I ask them to share that they're working up a free health coach, to please share that part, but not to say Take Shape for Life or Optavia or Medifast, and to just share how they're feeling, and then to have a little call of action at the end. And I've actually written that script out for them, and I give it to them, and I say, would you mind sharing this? And you can tweak it for you, but just tag me in it, and see who in your world might want to get healthy. And so here is the key thing. Write this down. When we started doing this, we saw a major shift, and this is a great thing to do this time of year. Every person that comments on their photo, I send them a short private message. Actually, Paula, how quickly would you be able to pull one of those up? I think I would like to share it with the group.
Did you email it to me, Megan? I haven't checked my email.
I texted it to you, so will it be too hard? I can just read it. I'll just read it, so don't worry about it. But here's what I do is with everybody that comments, I go in and I send that person a private message and say, thank you so much for liking so-and-so's transformation. I know it means a lot to them to have someone cheering them on. And something along the lines of, you'd be surprised how rare that is this day and age other people, just encouraging one another. If you or a family member you know is ever looking to get healthy, I would love to assist. We assist in all sorts of categories, not just weight loss. So nice to meet you. And I send them a friend request. And so I do that for every comment. And then I try to do that for as many likes as possible. And Paula, I don't know if this is something you've done much, but both Sean and I have been doing this lately. And it has had amazing results of people saying, well, I didn't want to say anything to you because I didn't know you, but I actually am interested in what you do, and could we talk? I mean, so many people saying that, and I had such a slew of people doing that with some potentials that actually one of them I shared with her, and she just became a coach a couple of days ago. I said, hey, you have people, I was sending them private messages, and you have people that are so interested. So that is an amazing way to just have more of a following and to get some share calls going with people that otherwise wouldn't know about you. And then I really wanted to ask you guys, have you utilized what we trained on last Thursday with the, hey, if you could lose the weight and you couldn't fail, how much would you want to lose, A, B, C, or D? Remember that? So we did that, and I went in and private messaged people just like Carissa taught on. And oh my goodness, it's amazing. Like the people that even a lot of them are my friends, have been following me for years and they've never said anything and they commented. Paula, did you have that experience too? Because I was blown away at the people that reached out.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Yeah, and I'm so, I'm thankful for Carissa actually just bringing that to our team. Such a simple concept. And I think it made people feel safe to answer. And then the way that the responses were demonstrated, what that did is I think each time that client responded, they were thinking about it a little bit more versus us saying, hey, first time they answer, I've been on a call, do you want to chat? Because you as Carissa was demonstrating, hey, I don't know if you're serious or not, but I know you can do this, and great, I'm just cheering for you basically. And then they're like, wait, no, I'm very serious. And then you're like, oh, and then that next response of asking for their phone number, I felt like it came in steps, and it was almost like each step was preparing their heart. So I thought it was amazing. It's not anything I had ever done like that before, but it was powerful because it was just small baby steps for the client, like opening up. It was very cool.
Yes, and Paula, if I may also add, I had a few coaches that they posted at a time of day that for some reason it just didn't tickle the algorithms right, and they didn't get a response. And I said, hey, why don't you try it, sometime between Monday and Friday between 2 and 4 p.m., because I just find that so many people are on Facebook. I don't know if they're just not working and they should be, or what's going on there. But why don't you retry it then and see what happens? And then they had people that were interested. So just try it again. I will say that it definitely works best if you have been making connections with people and commenting on their stuff recently, and just doing that, health coaching stuff that we do of relationship building through Facebook. But I have found that it's an amazing tool, and there's just so many people that are interested right now. So Thanks for letting me share, Paula.
That was so good. Megan, thanks for just bringing that up again, because it's not something that we wanted to let slide. And the whole idea of people commenting and liking, those of you who've been on Facebook already know this, but those of you who are new coaches, every time there's some interaction between you and someone, it puts your posts in their feed. And so that's why, like, the general conversation posts, what's your favorite Christmas movie? You can't just sound like you're doing some kind of survey every day, but from time to time, legitimately, just because it makes people want to share their ideas. Do they like white lights or colored lights on the Christmas tree? It's such an innocent question, but so it just takes a second for them to answer. And what that is doing is it's putting, again, people that you don't normally talk to, perfect time to just send them a Merry Christmas. It's been a long time since we chatted. How are you? How are things for you? In their private message. Super, super easy. But again, that's just putting a refreshment as far as your feed or how your posts are going into their feed. So the main thing is lots of conversations this time of year. You're out and about at Christmas parties, you're out and about shopping. This is the time to tell your story. If you've been healthy or getting healthy for quite some time, pretty soon the new you is the new norm. But remember how we talked about that first feeling, that first week when you were stepped on the scale, or the first month when you went back to the doctor and they've already lowered your blood pressure, that excitement it's just contagious. take yourself back there and remember how that felt. And remember how desperate you were to find something new when you started. And there's people like that around you. Most of the people are already planning what they're going to do January 1st. They just haven't said it out loud. They're just eating fudge and eating cookies and feeling awful. So that is something right there. The other thing is just being in action. If you have not sent out a Christmas card, I would suggest you do. It's not too late. You know, and when we've talked about this before, but when you write your Christmas letter, make sure you have a small bit about what you're doing and how much you're enjoying helping people with their health, and have a before and after photo on there if you have your own personal story. So that's good. If you haven't done Christmas, make sure that you're the first one in their mailbox for a New Year's card, because that's totally cool. It's different. It's fresh. Christmas is over, and they actually will take time to read it. You know those ones that come on like December 23rd and 24th? You're so busy about Christmas. You're like, oh yeah, that's nice. I'll get to it later. And then when it's, who knows if you get to read the letter, because you're busy swooping up Christmas and it's all going into the trash. So do it right away, or do it January 1st part of that. There's something.
Paula, may I add a little thing to that too that might be really helpful?
Yeah.
What we did this year, because we felt a little overwhelmed by doing Christmas cards this year, is we actually used Shutterfly has some cards where you can literally, they do the picture on the front, you can write out your section, your paragraph on the back, and then they will actually post it for you and adjust it and send it out. So our cards were like the first to get out, even though I totally procrastinated on them. So check that feature out.
Cool. So the service just actually did the mailing for you. You just paid them for it? Yeah.
Yep. It was pretty cheap too.
Oh, love it. Okay, that's super cool. That's Action Shutterfly, I guess. Yeah. And then the other thing is Facebook Live. For those of you who have been fearful about posting on Facebook Live, I want to tell you something. I was so scared. And once you do it once, it's really fun. It's actually easier than recording yourself and posting, because there's something about recording yourself. You're so second guessing, and every time you have a little bit of a stumble, you will push stop and then you'll re-record it. It just becomes a real bit of a hassle. And then by the 10th time, it doesn't even feel natural anymore. But there's something about Facebook Live. You're just talking and it's super easy, and it comes from your heart more. One of the ideas that I would suggest, if you are going to do that, make sure you write down what your concept that you're going to say. You know, just rambling on, people only listen to it once, and then the next time they see you do a Facebook Live, they'll just bypass it. They don't care. So have some points. Have 3 points that you're going to say, talk about. Doesn't matter how simple they look like on a piece of paper, so that you don't feel like you're stuck. So just know your beginning sentence before you turn it on, and your ending sentence, and then a couple points in the middle, and then just speak from your heart. At this time of year, it could be about gratefulness, of Christmas. It could be about, hey, if you're just one of the ones being pounded with snow, it could be about, I am so thankful. I had to come with a heart of gratitude that I have the ability and the health to shovel this, because last year when I was 40 pounds heavier, this would have killed me. So I just had to, you're just coming around from a positive standpoint. You're being thankful for the kids and the toys and, all the hustle bustle of shopping and whatever. It's your story. It could be about some great tea recipe that you're making, and people just want something that encourages them and uplifts them. And people are hanging out a lot on Facebook in the evenings, especially as it's dark, as it's cold. They're inside. They're surfing between Facebook and Amazon, shopping and watching. So yeah, keep your stuff going and reaching out. I wanted Carissa to come on in here in just a second and talk about the time of the year this is, of how powerful it is for inviting health coaches to come on with us. Because as you guys know, it's like, this is the deal. We're thinking about it for us, but what about bringing on coaches? How could we offer that to them, and why now? I think that would be the question. Why now? What is so great about coming on to join us in this mission now? People that you've talked to before, or people that you maybe are just thinking about this week. It doesn't always take everyone a long time to think about it. Some people, it's a conversation that they have and they're like, yeah, that sounds like something I'd like to do. Other people, it takes a little while to layer on them. Carissa, would you be able to share about how your feelings are about this time of year?
Yes. So I just had this conversation with Doug yesterday because, of course, we know this time of year, we're prepared, we're layering, but yet it takes me to encourage myself 10 times more this year to keep going than it would be, March, or it would be August, whatever it is. And so, yes, to be prepared in your mind, I think that's a good place to be, but also to know, don't give up. I have my shot on anything is possible, because right now, that's what I have to believe. I might be feeling disconnected a little bit from some clients, and that's normal, but I'm not giving up on these clients. I'm still sending texts. I'm still calling them, because I know what's going to happen on December 26th is, thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for pushing me through this time, and I am ready. But if they don't hear from us during this time, and just because they're disconnected doesn't mean we do not have to disconnect from them. So I would encourage you this season, connect with your clients. Maybe I sent the recording from our call on Monday night that Paula did. It was incredible. I sent that out personally through a text on yesterday. Today, I will send something else out to my clients, because right now, they might not be fully present with me, but I am going to be fully present in my client's life. So I would encourage you through this season, don't give up on them, whether you have 1 or 30 clients. These are your clients to pour into right now. And I would encourage you, we had a training with in our Office of Motion. And if you're not sure how to send out to all your inactive clients or active clients an email or an e-card, I'm going to do that today, because I want my inactive clients to know. Of course, I've been coaching a little over 2 years now, and I want my inactive clients to know the door's not shut for me to coach them. The door is open, and I am their health coach. No matter if they have not done program for a year or 6 months, I am their health coach, and I want them to come join me this next year. Maybe I didn't coach them well in the beginning because I was new myself, and I want them to give me another opportunity to say, you know what? I want to do this again, and I want the opportunity to be able to coach you into a good fat burn. I want to be able to coach you through celebration calls and through next year. So I would encourage you, if you don't know how to send an inactive messages or emails out to your inactive clients or your clients right now, get with your business coach. They will walk you through that. But I think right now is such a great time not to sit back, as we all want to sit back. I know my kids, we have 2 days of school left, so I'm trying to get all I can in for Christmas before they get off. But really taking that time when you have it, and to be more intentional. That word right now, being intentional, is huge during this season, because if we're not intentional, Paula, we're going to sit back, and then come January, we're going to wonder where all our clients are, and all our inactive clients are, and all our friends and our family who we've been layering with. But right now is the time really to step in and really just to take it up a notch.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Carissa, thanks for saying that. Yeah. It is about being intentional. And those of you who are parents who have kids that are going to be home for the Christmas holidays, remember, our job doesn't take that many hours a day. So if it means, a couple of hours in the morning while they're just waking up little sleepyheads, that's great. And then tuck in maybe an hour in the afternoon, and then maybe a couple hours in the evening. I mean, just tuck it around the nooks and crannies between playing Candyland and watching Elf or something. You can do it. It doesn't take that much time, but it is being specific on your time and being very clear with your sitting down and knowing exactly what you're going to do. Carissa, thanks for talking about that as far as keeping that door open, because when clients don't call us back, we start taking it personal. But you know what they're really feeling? They feel embarrassed because they feel like they've let us down. They've let themselves down. And here I go again. I'm a failure. And when you keep extending that bridge that Carissa was talking about, it's like then they feel non-judged. life happens, and let them know that. Sometimes there's a struggle, and I know your intentions were that you wanted to get healthy, and that wasn't quite the right timing. That's a word I usually say. It wasn't maybe the right timing for you at that time, but what about now? I'd love to walk beside you in this journey, and this time of your journey. And it's like, then they're like, oh, it wasn't the right time. And just kind of, I think it brings peace to them. Like, they don't have to call us and justify why they went off program. It's all right. It doesn't matter why. I do want to put a thought in your mind. Doug and I were talking about this, and maybe some of you others have been talking about it too, is as health coaches in general, we'd like to kind of start thinking about launching a new level of health in each of our lives, and maybe launching it in a big way starting January 2nd, like Tuesday, maybe not Monday, which is the 1st, or maybe it is Monday, but January 2nd, and making it a big deal, thinking about, okay, what you are looking to do to go up to the next level. Do you need to shed a few pounds? Is it that your desire is to something about fitness or sleep or what have you? And we want to really pour into our client pages by health coaches talking about that, because you know what? It's contagious. And as they see us getting on maybe and back on the bandwagon, if you feel like you've fallen off, or just taking it to the next level of being intentional, then they feel no judgment to hop on with us, because it's that way. So we'll talk about that more, and I know Doug's putting together something, as well as Tia, to bring us all together in that idea. But filling our news feeds with that kind of energy is really powerful, on our client pages primarily. If you were not on the Saturday morning training, and it was open, Carissa was talking about the understanding how to send an e-card. Terry talked about that as well. Carissa, was that the one that you're talking about, or Simple Systems, or what would you give the exact title of the one you were referring to?
It was last Saturday's training. It was the Connecting the Dots. It was with Terry Miller and Doug on Saturday, and it was very, very good on really breaking down the steps of sending that out.
Yep, Connecting the Dots. Thank you I couldn't remember the title. And then, as Megan was talking about your clients asking them to share their before and after photo, when they send you their photos, and I asked my clients, I learned this from Janet Lindgren. She was a brand new coach, and she didn't know that wasn't a requirement. And so she would say, now you need to send me all your photos front, side, and back tonight before you get started. And then the next day she would say, well, I didn't get your photos. And it wasn't several months later. I'm like, Janet, how do you have all these before and after photos? And she said, well, doesn't everyone? And I'm like, oh. So I started doing the same thing, and people are actually very responsive. And I would say 3/4 of them send them. And then I ask them for a retake every 4 weeks. And so then when those come in, I put them side by side, shoot them back to them in a text. And at that moment, it's like it's that teachable moment. We call it that. It's that moment where they are so inspired. And when you say, do you realize that there's probably a lot of people that are just like you? What would you think about me putting that on there and congratulating you, not for you, but for your family and friends, especially if you've said, are there some of your family and friends that could use health? And that's a tenderness, whether they want to coach or they don't. And then when they allow you to do that, or they do it for you, because you can post it on their behalf and tag them in it, all the comments that come in are overwhelming to them in a good way. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that people were as desperate as I am. And sometimes at that point, it's great to say, gosh, you have 5 or 6 or 8 people that are ready to get healthy. Would you want to think of walking beside them? I mean, it's almost like a no-brainer. It's almost like you're handing them a senior coach business at that point. And so, it doesn't always work like that, but it does sometimes. And it's very cool. I would like to, I wanted to just say a couple things to remind you of what we talked about. Just being active, doing snail mail, sending an e-card. I loved what Carissa said of staying intentional with your clients at this time of year, of contacting them often with text, maybe a recipe or a photo of a recipe, a video of encouragement. And you probably all know that every Wednesday night we're having a trilogy presentation now. So that post that Doug posted on his page, and then many of us shared it on our personal client page, there were 3 people who were interested just because of the post and the activity below it. So they were clients that said, could you send me more information about this trilogy? I was like, wow. So be bold in offering it, because especially, at this time of year, people are thinking about finances. They're thinking about health. It's like, we have both. So some of you who have been doing something different, I'd love for you just to have a minute would you pop off and share an idea of something you've done? Mike, Summer, I know you guys are always full of great ideas.
Hi, Paula. This has been so great, so informative. There's so many things to jump in and I love it. One of the things I wanted to share with you guys is have a quick 1-minute response to your family and friends when you see them about you becoming a health coach or you being a health coach. Like, for instance, at holiday parties and things. Remember, this time, people are going to be like, hey, how are you? It's been a while since you've seen them, or you haven't been together in a little bit. Remember, not everyone needs to know every detail about your life. So maybe that moment's not the time to say, oh, it's been a hard year. 2016 is almost over. I can't wait for 2017. It might be a good time to be like, you know what? 2016 has been really great. I decided to become a health coach and lives are changing around me. Just really change your perspective and also your share. In that moment, that 1-minute response of, this year has been a life changer for me. My health has gone to another level. I've been able to help other people. It just really can change the dynamic of that relationship, encourage, and then just leave it there. And if they ask questions, awesome. If they don't, that's all right. Move on. But you plant little seeds, that one day will sprout. So I would encourage you to have your 1-minute share, your little blurb, we call it an elevator share. It's about a little 60-second blurb. And then also, guys, just love on people right now. It is a hard season for some people. And if you are that encouraging voice, if you are that one out there loving them through, they're going to want you to love them through in other areas of their life and to walk with them and journey with them. But love you guys.
Summer, thanks for saying that, because people long to be surrounded by someone positive who's speaking life into them. And yeah, it's contagious. Because you believe in them, you've had great things, and you want it for them. And who doesn't want to be invited to that party? Anyone else have something to share? We'll pop off and close this. I want to be conscious of your time.
Yeah, Paula, I've got something. This is Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
You know what? I'm not on by video here. I'm driving, but something that Raquel and I had done for the past first years we were coaches is we shared. We did a little old-fashioned and picked about 20, 30 people, and that we really knew were on our people to help list, the list we had written out, and we hadn't reached them yet. And we wrote a Christmas letter to them, personally. And we didn't write out personally everyone. We printed one off that we had written, and it talked about this massive change we made in our life. Great things in the new year, and that now we were coaches and we were so excited about losing over 100 plus pounds together and all this. And I wasn't even all the way to my goal weight yet at all. And so we shared that, mailed it out to about 20, 30 people. And we actually had people call us and begin that. And then my family, they were all amazed. I actually thought they knew what we were doing, and they really didn't.
Right.
It was my assumption. How could they not know? How could they not see what I've been posting? How could they? And it was my assumption. And so sending that out was kind of like, hey, I opened a hardware store.
Yep.
That's what it was like, Paula.
Thank you. Yeah, just for reminding us. Yeah, people don't know. It's like a secret. Yeah. I want Dan to pop on and share a little bit too of the things on that he's thinking about sharing and putting in. I do want to remind you about January 7th. It's a big deal. And this is the time to get with your business coach and do something. Whether you just have a few people over for a healthy happy hour, whether you organize something and you go for a walk and just share a few personal stories. Do something, or if you don't know what to do, get with your business coaches. It's really easy, and people appreciate it. The ones who come have an interest in health, and that's why they come. So it's really a great opportunity, and it's a growing experience for all of us, right? We've all done the first thing of something once, and the first time's we're the most uncertain. But it's not hard. Just trust us. Just like we said, coaching was awesome. Just like the 5-in-1 is awesome. Trust us. You will be so glad that you did that January 7th event. Dan, are you there? Could you come off and just share a little bit?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Just a real quick little tip, and maybe some of you are already doing this. It's kind of Christmas card list time, and if you're ahead of the game, you already got your cards out. Ours are going out today, so hopefully they'll get there before Christmas. But we've all got these lists of people, and what I started doing, just because it was what I was thinking, was I noticed a couple names that maybe I hadn't talked to in a while, and I've been sending texts saying, hey, we're just doing our Christmas card list, saw your name, was just thinking about you, we should connect soon. And that's been going really good, just to start conversations. There have been some inactive clients in there, from family, and just a way to kind of get a conversation going.
Cool. Dan, and you're doing that before you mail the card, so it's a double?
Yep.
Yep.
There. Yep. And it feels natural because everybody understands you're kind of going through, gathering addresses, putting your Christmas card to list. So if you have that list already done, it's going to save you the time of having to sit down and think of people and come up with another list. Why not just use that one?
I love that. And you know what? They're going to be watching for your Christmas card too. I mean, they're going to notice it in the stack of all the others because you actually reached out. Very cool. Ashley and Jaylyn, go ahead and share. I think your hands are up.
Hey, it's Ashley. So I just had a suggestion in what I just started doing this yesterday with some of my clients that have been MIA, and it's really kind of making them laugh, but then they're also reaching out, and it's sending them a short video. I think Carissa had done this in the past, and so just recording a quick little, less than a minute, just saying, hey, where you been? I miss you. They're seeing my antics, and they're like, a couple of my clients had actually responded right away and were like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. And then it just started that conversation again, and just kind of reconnecting with them. But that's kind of something that I've done to the clients that are busy with Christmas and the holidays. And it seems to be working. So just wanted to throw that out there as an idea.
I love it. Yeah, you took it to a playful atmosphere, and then they felt so comfortable reaching back out, or they feel compelled, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a bigger call to action is when they're actually seeing my face and not just because I would call and leave a voicemail and no response. I would send them a text, no response. Send them a video and they're like, you're crazy. Like, it definitely had made a big difference. So.
Love it. Thank you.
Hey, Paula, this has been so great. Josh and I are just like nodding our heads like, yes, yes, yes. I think what we were talking about earlier during the Zoom is just what we've noticed our clients and what we've been needing to focus with them on in this Christmas season. I've noticed a lot of my clients mentally have been really hard on themselves. Yeah. And so I've really been putting a lot of focus on helping them to make progress. Whether that's, if they do find that they're, going back to an unhealthy habit during Christmas and I am able to talk to them, I'm able to kind of instill that growth mindset in them where I'm teaching them, okay, what can you learn from this instead of just feeling like you failed? And I think a lot of the times our clients can get into this place, especially during the holidays, where they feel like it's all or nothing, like they have to be perfect. And the truth is, the fact that they're here and the fact that they're just answering your phone calls and, making that progress, I really applaud them and celebrate them for that, because it's those little victories that's really going to make them successful as the new year comes around.
Yeah. And even clients who, sometimes you'll have a client who maybe they maintain for a few weeks and they're disappointed in themselves. Like, oh, I haven't lost in like 3 weeks. I turn that around and I say, so you've learned to maintain your weight. You've maintained the same weight for 3 weeks. How awesome is that? Like, were you ever able to do that in the past, or would you have just gained weight back in those 3 weeks? And they kind of go, oh yeah. And I go, that's awesome. Like, you know, celebrate them, get them in a positive mindset, and then from there ask, so what do you want it to look like? Would your desire be to continue losing? And if that's the case, you know, I will support you in that, and let's do it. But if you can get them out of that, help move them from that negative mindset of self-sabotaging and shame and guilt, and help them see that they actually do have more power control than they think they do, suddenly they're willing to acknowledge what they really want. Because when they're in that place of shame and guilt, they probably don't even want to say what they really want because they don't think they can do it. But when we empower, feel the power to say, yeah, I do want to lose that extra 10 pounds in December. Cool, let's do that. And so I've just found, you know, it really is, it comes back to mindset. And when you can help people start to change there, that's where they're going to see their success.
I love that. You're right, because the moment you take that guilt off of them, then they can see in a creative mindset again, because otherwise they're just walking in shame. But yeah, it's like, why do we focus on the 1% of the time that we fail instead of the 99% of the time that we succeeded? And right, where would have they been other years? They would have gained 5 pounds through the holidays. You maintained? Are you kidding? That's awesome. I bet you didn't just, you know, whatever, you know, and all at once, then you're right. Then because they do feel guilty, like they're letting us down, no matter what we say, they still feel like, you know, they didn't please. So anyway, it's been great spending the morning with all of you. Merry Christmas. And next week will be, oh my gosh, it'll just be a few days before Christmas. So get all your shopping done and tuck in a couple of hours in the morning, a couple hours in the afternoon, a little bit in the evening. Even if the kids are home, there's still plenty of time for ice skating and, you know, baking gingerbread cookies or whatever else you're doing. So anyway, everyone, have a great day. And we'll talk with you Monday, I guess, is our next time together.